these streets know you. And when it's time to handle business, then we know what to do.
We know how we're going to handle that tight end. How are we going to account for the C gap and all of that stuff. And then we want to know how we're going to defend the single side against trips, because that dictates our coverage. And going on to our next one, our points of emphasis, it's real big for us. Our D-line maintain their gap integrity. We don't do a lot of moving. We do some, but we want to hit and hold our gaps, and we want to make sure that our D-line is maintaining their gap integrity. So it's important that, especially with those two ends, that they're maintaining the B gaps, because if not, that's where we're going to get creased a lot of times if our ends get out of their gap. Another major point of emphasis for us is for the backers. We teach them pause, box, fit. So that's going to have to do with where the running back is. If the running back is to my side and I'm removed from the box, I'm a pause player. If I'm in the box, whether it be our two inside backers or one of them, whatever, I'm a box player. So I know I'm fast in the fit. I'm a run first player. And then fit talks to the outside guy who's opposite of the back. So if the back is opposite me, I'm a fast fit player if the run comes at me. And then coverage leverage dictates our fit. So like I said about the single side, how we're planning on trying to defend that single side affects how we have to defend the three receiver side. And so sometimes we have a backer removed, so he's not always going to be a box player. He may be a pause player or a fit player, depending on what the coverage is. So right here's our base alignment versus 2x2. Our two ends, our end and tackle, are fours, and sometimes we get them to a 4-eye. We kind of, just depends on those guys and what they're really capable of. Our nose is a 0. Will and Mike are 30 backers, and then our jack and our star are going to align depending on where the back is. If the back's to their side, they're gonna apex, but they're gonna get a little closer to the number 2. And the jack, if the back's opposite him, he's going to be more of an apex player right there. And then our corners and safeties are going to align based on the coverage that we're running. So here's an end zone shot of our guys right here. This right here is our end. He's our B gap player. This would be our Mike. He's opposite the back right there, so he'd be our A gap player. This is our nose, and he's going to play backside A right there. So if they're running the ball this way, he's going to play that backside A. He's going to lag. Our other end is going to be a B gap player, and then this is our wheel right here. He's to the back, so he's actually going to play. He's going to play the back half of the running back for cutback, and he's going to play the front half of the quarterback if he pulls it. We're gapped out up front, so he's kind of in the nest, because our outside backer over here, because the back is to his side, our outside backer is a pause player. So this guy helps on this half of the quarterback, and the outside backer right here would have this half of the quarterback. All right, talking about our ends, our heads technique. So like I said, it's really crucial for those guys, a major point of emphasis for us, that they maintain that B gap. So versus a down block, we want them to keep square as much as possible to the line of scrimmage, squeeze the B gap. This says wrong arm. That's a little old. We don't really wrong arm anymore. We splatter. So we attack the inside peck of that pulling guard, and we're going to try to be inside that puller. Versus a base block, we're going to press. We want our face in the gap. We're going to lock, peak, shed. We're going to maintain that gap. If that guard's pulling, we're going to get hard into that B gap right there, and we're going to try to chase it down. Versus a reach block, we'll let him reaches. We're going to keep our face in the gap. We don't necessarily do a great job of this, but we do a pretty good job of not letting the guard reaches, which is a big deal. We can't let that guard cut us off right here. Once the ball crosses our face, so if we're right here, if we're getting reached or if we're getting based, they're going to stay in the B gap. But if the ball crosses their face outside, they're going to drop, step, release, and they're going to get outside on it then. But they have to make sure the ball is declared, because if they get outside, these backers are fitting based off of where these guys are. And if they get out of that B gap too quick, we're going to get creased right there. The nose is pretty easy. We call him a bear nose. He's just trying to run through that center's face mask. If he gets a double team right there, he's going to sit in the gap and try to fight pressure. If he gets reached one way or the other, he's going to play the back side of that reach. Again, he can't get cut off by that guard either. So that's a big deal right there. Can't get cut off in the A gap. And we want him to declare. So whichever side he goes, we've got a backer responsible for that other A gap. So if he declares wrong, it's fine, as long as he does it fast enough that the other backer can replace him off of it. All right, versus a 3x1 base alignment, what we would do right here, the jack goes over. And so he would now, in this look right here, he would be our fit player. Our free right here is actually our pause player. And we'll do a couple different things on the backside. Actually, we can show that later. I got a couple clips. We do that. Nothing changes for these guys. B gap, backside A, front side A, B gap. And then we still have him right here. So the quarterback pulls it. He's inside out on him right there. We get speed option back there. He's quarterback. He's your pitch player right there. An adjustment we make to 3x1. So right here, if we're wanting to lead the jack back to the single side right here, then now we've got the wheel. The wheel is now our only box player. So wheel becomes a front side player. He's no longer in the nest back here where he's covered up. So the mic is now a fit player. The jack would now be a pause player because he's to the side of the back right here. So if we need to do that for this guy or whatever reason right there, this is how we would line up to that. All right, slot or pro twins, whatever you call it, we would line our jack up right here in a 9. Our free is playing over the tight end right here. He would be our extra C-gap player right there to the side of the back. So technically he would be our quarterback player and our pause player right there. Our star is still our fit player right there. All right, base alignment, if they give us double tight. So if we get double tight right here, we're going to walk up and we're going to play 2 9-techs right there. Now, where this is a little different is, so we do still have the safety. Right here is the C-gap player. But if we get, pullers or anything like that, he becomes our third guy on the puller right there too. So we still have our safeties on the tight ends, and they're playing the C-gap right there. All right. So we're going to talk about zone first. So fitting up inside zone. This is a basic look of what we normally would get in our base front. So we're going to get a double team right here opposite the back. We get a double team. So he's going to sit in there and he's going to try to play the B gap. We're going to get a double team right here for the nose. He's going to play that A gap, that backside A gap. The wheel is going to fit right there in the front side A gap. And then this tackle right here, we want him to get as much of that B gap as possible. We want him to try to get into that guard's hip as much as possible. So our mic, if he does get, in this look right here, if he gets dug out right there, the mic's going to just replace him. If he gets all the way down like he's supposed to, the mic's going to fit right here, and then he'll fold back, quarterback, cut back, whatever he needs to. This is our pause player right here. He's sitting on the outside of that quarterback right there. He's also looking for anything to come back in right here. If they run a slant or anything off of that backside, he should be sitting on that right there. And then our star over here, our star is going to be a fast fitter on the front side. So we're B gaps here, A gap, front side A gap, B gap right there, and then he's here to here. Now we also have calls where we would send him, one of these guys, into that B gap, and he becomes the new, basically the B gap player, like a 3-tech. That would step him out right there. So if they exchange the gap, now the mic becomes the B gap player. That tackle's stepping out right here. He would become the quarterback player, the inside of the quarterback and the outside of the quarterback right there. So that's how we would handle that. And then if they go, trips or anything like that over here, if they bring this guy over, then that would adjust our fits. But these guys right here in these 5, theirs pretty much stay the same unless the coverage dictates that the mic or the wheel are removed. The most part, it stays like this. When we get outside zone, so if we're getting outside zone right here, the jack, he's a fit player. He's opposite the back, so he's going to fit fast right here. The tackle is he's going to try to get a piece of that offensive tackle as much as possible. Try to stay on his hip. The big thing is he can't allow this guy to reach him. So we want to play this and get out here as much as possible. I want that wheel. If he can, we want him to try to get over the top of that tackle. But if the jack does what he's supposed to right here, it's okay if he goes under and gets back over to the top right here. We want to just make sure he stays on the inside hip of that back and doesn't allow it to cut up right there. So here's our B gap player. Here's our C gap player. Then we're going to send the safety down right here. He's got in between these two right here. He's got in between 2 and 3 on this look right here. And then our star is going to come up outside of that number 2 to force it back in. And these guys are really late to the party right here because they're going to be checking for any type of pass or anything like that. We should be, at least. That we get caught on that sometimes. So what I'm going to do now is I've got some clips we're going to watch of our zone plays and how we defend zone. All right, so right here, starting off, we got a 2x2 look. This is our Mike right here. So he's going to, and this is our wheel. So we got Mike and wheel right here. This is our star. He's to the backside, so he should be a pause player. And this is 3 years ago. It was kind of early on, and I was running this stuff, and he is way too fast on this. You can see he's getting out of there pretty quick. This is our fit player right here, but you can see up front, we do a pretty good job of maintaining our gaps right here. This guy, our 4 right here, does a really good job of getting penetration in the B gap right there. So you can see we're in our gap here. Now, if you see the nose also, he got front side gap right here, but that's okay. If you notice our wheel, he's going to kind of fall back into it right here. He doesn't get too far across. He just makes
Coach,
up for it.
Real quick, got a question.
Yes, sir.
What's the depth of your linebackers, of your Mike and your?
Yeah, so we tell them. Let me turn you up a little bit. We're telling them 5, but I mean I don't know if our guys ever actually line up at 5.
I got you.
They're usually, if you look, our guys are usually like 4.5, or sometimes they're at 3. But
Okay.
We're telling them heels at 5.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah. So, and like I said, right here, you can see here's our fast fitter right there. Now, like I said, the nose gets front side, so the wheel just falls back in it. But this is a big, like I said, it's important for us that those 4s maintain that B gap, and he does a good job of getting penetration in there. And then this should be our cutback guys right here. You can see him kind of falling back, not really overrunning it too much right there. All right, so right here, now we've got trips out here, and the mic is removed. So now our mic is actually a fit player. Our wheel is our only box player. And now with us, it depends. I'd have to look back here. Depending on where our free is. If the mic's removed, that means the free's back here. So that means our jack can actually fit down a little bit quicker right here. We've already got 2 guys on the backside. So if he gets a run action right here, he can be tighter to the guy's hip right here. And you can watch. So we get backside right there, and you can see the wheel fits fast in the front side. You can see our mics coming down to fit right here. And the mic does a good job of not just running up the field. You see he gets to his hip right there. So he kind of opens up, and the wheel feels the front side A gap right there. And so we moved the mic over. So all we've really done is just kind of pushed everything over this way. And now the mic's the fit player, and the wheel is the only box player. I do have some end zones of this game, for some reason, we don't have it at the beginning. All right, this one again right there. It's the same clip. I hit the wrong button. There we go. All right, so again, we got the mic removed out here. Now, this one right here, so he comes up and cuts back, and you can see, again, like I said, we hadn't been running this too long, and you can see the jack on the backside gets too far upfield, and that allows him to kind of cut back underneath him a little bit right there. I'd like to see him, like our Mike did on the play before, kind of throttle down at the hip. And I got some clips here in a minute. You can see he gets a lot better at it. But also our wheel, you can see our wheel stacks and falls back. He doesn't just – he kind of tracks the running back and falls back on it right here. But, again, the 4i is just getting a lot of penetration in the B gap, and that's what really makes all that go. This one is an outside zone. So we get outside zone here. You can see the mic comes up, and he fits fast, and he gets blocked up right there. You can see our star is out here. He's kind of hanging loose right there because we want to make sure it's not a halfback pass or anything, and he still has time to rally. Our safety back here, you can see our safety's unblocked, and he's going to come down right here. He's going to fit in between 2 and 3 on the outside zone. So we're taking away everything in here. We're staying hard in the B gaps, forcing it to get lateral, and the safety comes down right here off the roof, and he's the one who makes the tackle. You can see it from here as well, from the wide view. I mean, I'd like to see him probably trigger a little quicker on that. Once he sees that block, he should probably be going a little faster, but we get him down there. All right, we got the mic removed again right here. You can see the mic is removed to the trip side over here. And you can see we got our jack kind of walked down a little tighter on this look to the single side. And this one, okay, so you can see how much better he does right here where he's really squeezing the hip right here. So he stays a lot tighter. So when he gets that cutback, he's there for the tackle. And we're fitting everything up good up front, and he's there for the cutback. You can see the end zone of it right here. Now they also blocked us a little different right here. We get doubles on our fours and they base the nose right here, which kind of jacks us up a little bit. He has to declare fast. It doesn't matter which side. If he declares here, it's fine as long as our wheel knows. And we kind of end up with them both in the same gap a little bit right here because the nose declares and the wheel fit a little fast, but we managed to squeeze him back into that gap and force the cutback. And like I said, the main thing is our jack right here. He gets tight to that hip. He doesn't overrun it like he did earlier. All right, so we got right here, this is our star right here. He's opposite the back, so he should be a fast fitter right here. He's a little wide. He could actually be a little tighter right here. He does not have to be that far out there, but which is causing him about a step on this. But we do a good job. We button up everything inside. You can see our 4 is fitting hard inside in the B gap front side. You can see our wheel. He's plugging fast in the A gap right here. And then the ball's forced to bounce right here. And we make a play with our star right here coming off the edge. Like I said, if he wasn't so wide, I think he'd be there. He's about a step late because he's so wide out there to that number 2 to the field. But he triggers fast like we want him to. This one's just cut back right there, and you can see right here, staying hard in the B gap right there, getting penetration in the B gap right there, gapped out just like we want them. Same thing, get it better from the end zone view on this one. And you can see our guys telling him to come off the edge right there, and he does come a little quicker this time. And you can see he's telling him he's got to fit fast off of it. Do a good job eating everything up inside so the ball's not able to bang. It has to bounce or bend, and that's what we want. All right, this one right here, they kind of dig our 4-eye out right here. And so if that 4-eye gets dug out, then that inside backer to his side, so our mic right here, that 4-eye gets dug out right here, and the mic has to replace him. So you can see he gets blocked right here. He's not hard in the B gap like he had been, like he should be. And so the mic sees that opens, and he just fits right there like he's supposed to. Because really those guys to the side of the back don't necessarily have a gap, but when it opens up like that, he's got to fit in there and play that open gap. So he makes that guy right when he gets dug out like that. Okay, right here, we've got a tight end up top. So now we're playing a 9 to this side. We're still playing B gap with these guys, A gap with these guys. Our free is our C gap player in this one. And you can see right here, we'll go to the end zone. It's better view right here. So we're B gap here, still the same right here. He's got the back to his side so he can actually stack and fall back. He should be backside. He should be front side A right here. We get quarterback keep on this one right here, and you can see our free safety is our C gap player. The wheel's here to fall back on it right there. So that's how we handle that with that tight end look right here. Our jack's a little wide, but anyway, our free's right there where he's supposed to be. This one right here, all right, we're plugging the mic right here. Or the wheel, I'm sorry, we're plugging the wheel right here. So what that does is it steps him out. So like I said earlier, we're exchanging. So he's going to step out right here. He's going to play like a heavy 5. So with the back to his side, he knows he's quarterback player, or he's thinking quarterback if the quarterback pulls it, cut back. And then we get our normal, they're doubling here and they're trying to base him. He comes unblocked right there. Now, the mic doesn't fit I think the Mike gets a little wide right here. I'd like to see him a little more in that A gap. I think he gets outside a little quick, but we still managed to get a play right there. This one is the quarterback, so we get back away action right here. Back's here, and you can see we got the jack and the Mike both fitting for the back, and everybody else fits front side. So we're reading our keys up front. Our guys are fitting just like they're supposed to. We get backside A right here. We get front side B right here, B gap, and then our wheel fits the front side A gap right here. So even though it's not the running back, it's quarterback, we're still fitting gaps like we're supposed to. We get speed option to the single side right here. So we got on this look right here, the jack's moved over. So the Mike is supposed to be the one to get to the quarterback, and the free has got to come down off the roof right here to get the quarterback. Now they give us zone action away, so that's why the Mike's about a step late getting there. But we do keep them from turning it up at least. Also, if you watch our 4 right here, our 4 does a really good job of staying in the B gap, and then once he realizes ball declares outside, then he releases. So he stays B gap, ball declares outside, then he releases. Gets flat down the line, keeps it from turning up, and gives our safety time to get downhill. All right, this is the same thing right here. We're going to get speed option, but this time it's to the 2 receiver side. So the jack's fitting down hard right here. We force the ball to keep rolling outside. We got the strong safety coming downhill right there. The cornerback should stay outside a little bit longer. He bounces inside a little quick. I'd like to see him stay outside a little bit longer, but we string it out right there for a yard or no gain. But we can see right here, maintaining our gap. You can see the Mike getting over the top of the tackle right there. And the strong's coming down right here. He would be our pitch player. Same thing, speed option over here to the 2 receiver side. Now this one, our star knows that he's got the back to his side, so he's a pause player. So he's a little slower to get down when they run the speed option at him right here. So they kind of get on him, but the Mike does a good enough job of getting here, so he goes outside on it right there. And then our 4 also gets good penetration in the backfield. So we're able to get a push right here and then get flat down the line right there. Still got our star coming down, our strong coming down. Corner does a better job right there staying outside leverage when the ball gets all the way to him. You see it here. We do a good job. We get a better piece of that tackle right there with that 4-eye, which helps the Mike out. All right. So against these guys, we were, I said one of the things we look at is the quarterback a threat to run. And against these guys, we were really worried about this guy running. And I don't think I have any clips of us tackling him in bounds or really tackling him at all. They run outside zone this way, though, and you can see our Mike is really concerned right here. We hammered it on him. We want him watching this guy right here. So he's almost looping for the quarterback right here. But we've still got him unblocked right here, our jack for the outside zone right there at him. And then the wheel gets over top, and so we string it out, manage to keep it running to the sideline. Same thing, you can watch him right here maintain his gap, and then you can see the 4, then he drop step, so he releases right here. So we're going to stay in our B gap, and then we're going to get out of there. And then the wheel also can get out of there a little quicker because the nose cancels out that front side A gap right there. All right, this is the quarterback keeping it, and you can see why we're so worried about him because we can't pull his flag right here. We've got everybody on the left side of the defense accounting for this guy, and we still can't get him. Cuts it all the way back across. We managed to run him out of bounds over here for no gain or whatever, but you can see what we're doing here is the wheel's stacking. So like I said, he's got the back half of that running back, and he's got the front half of that quarterback. So we want him to string it out to this guy out here, to our jack. And we do that. We are able to kind of somewhat string it out. Our end takes a bad angle right there. So that's why they're able to cut it back on us right here. If the end takes a better angle, you can see in a minute, we're in better shape against it in a minute. But you can see our wheels tracking, falling back on him right here. And we're able to at least run him out of bounds right here for. All right, same thing right here. We get the same look right here. We're going to get zone action this way, and you can see the wheel falling back. We get better angles here. Right there, jack gets flatter on him right there. Corner comes up. You can see our corner is kind of delayed coming because we don't want. This is the quarterback running the ball. We don't want him to throw it on us. That's what we, Grand Lake got our drawers on that. Our corner triggered too fast and they popped us over the top for a touchdown. So I mean, we want those guys. This is what they should be doing right here. He should be a little slower to go because they got time once he gets all the way out there to him. Same thing again. We string it all the way out right here. We managed to stay inside out on him. But again, so this is our jack really is the one that kind of runs him out. So he knows he's got the back to his side. He's a pause player. Our Mike is stacking right here, and he should fall back on it. We're able to run this guy all the way out of bounds right here for no gain. All right, against these guys, we fit it a little differently. Their zone was more of like a mid zone right here where he's going to hit it out here. The quarterback was more of a threat in the middle. He wasn't as much of a threat off the edge like you would see with like a zone read, like where he's coming out this way. So we actually kind of push the fits a little bit against these guys, where you'll see right here our Mike is going to fit front side C gap as opposed to fitting the A gap. And what we do is with this, we push him out here, and then the wheel kind of hangs in that backside A gap right there. All right, so that's our zone. That's how we fit. That's how we fit up inside, outside zone, speed option, any of that stuff. Now, when we're talking about one back gaps, so if they're running gap runs, how do we want to defend that? And these are pretty much this is pretty much is how it is. We always want to make sure we've got somebody inside and outside each puller. So if we get this look right here, if we're getting GT counter and they're going to send that front side tackle to our wheel, then we know our tackle's getting kicked out. We want that tackle to squeeze and splatter that front side guard. So we want to attack that inside breastplate, and we want this guy right here, our Mike, when this guy's wrapping, we want him to get underneath that right there. So we'd be inside that first puller, we'd be inside that wrapper. And if you look, we're inside and outside this wrapper as well with the tackle. And then our jack would be our outside guy right here. So inside, outside is what we're wanting those guys to do. We want that wheel to try to get over this as best he can, and then he would just be our extra fitter however he could get over here. Our nose, we want our nose to either beat this down block if he can. If this guy's face is across his, we want him to push back against the pressure. If this guy's head is on his shoulder or hip, whatever, then just keep pushing. Hopefully we can knock off one of these pullers or something right here. This guy or end, when we get pullers away from us, we want to bend and chase as much as possible. This guy's got the back to him, so he's still a pause player right here. So he'd still be checking quarterback, any type of throwback over here, anything like that. Now, if they block it to where, and we get this some too, if they block it to where they'll base that tackle and then they're going to pull and try to kick our jack, that's fine. Our jack is our outside player. Mike still gets inside right there, and then the wheel is going to be able to climb over the top, and he'd be inside. So we'd be inside, outside right there. So if we got two pullers, we got to have three bodies on it. If we get one puller, we got to have two bodies on it. It's like this right here, which we call one back power gut. And so if we're getting a base block over here to the front side, if that tackle's doing his job and he's staying hard in that B gap right there, then this guy coming across right there, he'd be outside of it and the wheel would fit inside. So the wheel's going to fit wherever there's space. If the wheel has to fit outside, he will, and the Mike will fit underneath on that right there. If this, and what really helps is if this backside end, if he can get hip pocket of that guard right there, we want to try to create as much disruption right here as we can with that as well. Same with these guys, though. The same rules apply to them as far as all this goes. We're still a pause player, and we're still a fit player. These guys are still box players. All right, I'm going to show y'all. We got some clips on how we defend that. All right, the first few are going to be GT counter. All right, so we got trips away over here. So actually we've only got one box player. You can see our mic's removed. So our jack's playing kind of tight right here. He's hugging it. Get down block. We get a squeeze right here. He's going to splatter it. He's going to fit tight off right there, and he's going to be outside right here. You see it again from the end zone on this one. We have end zone clipper here. And then we also get good, you can see right here from the backside, we do a good job of kind of almost catching it right there. Sometimes we are able to, if we get off the ball quick enough. You can see though, right here front side, we're going to squeeze, we're going to splatter. You can see the wheel staying inside out, and you can see the jack playing outside on that. All right, this one right here, they're going to base our 4. He gets enough penetration in the B gap though that he is able to jack that up. And then our 3 backers right here, outside, inside right there, we're able to run it to the sideline and make a play. So you can see right here, they try to base our 4. He's able to get penetration in the B gap right here. He blows that up. We've got our jack. He's going to be outside, inside, and he's our outside guy right there. All right, same thing right here. You could see our 4 gets penetration again right here in the B gap. So now they block it a little different right here though. What we get is they're actually wrapping that front side guy. Instead of trying to kick, they're trying to wrap. They do wrap and get to our backside backer on this. But we've still got our 2 front side guys. So we end up, we're tight right here and we knock off the puller, but that would be our inside and that's our outside right there. All right, again, right here, we've only got 1 box player, so our mic is removed on this one right here. So he would be our pause player because he's got the back to his side. You can see the 4-eye. He gets a down block. He's going to squeeze it. He actually just kind of runs into the puller more so than splatters it. And then our jack's outside and our wheel's tight inside. So you can see right here, he just fits really tight off of that guy, and just him and the puller just kind of run into each other, but he ends up still being our inside. There's our outside. There's our inside. We're able to run it down and make a play. All right, so right here, we got our jack walked up. They got trips into the boundary right here. Our jack's walked up. You got our corner and our free over here. So they're going to pull, try to kick the jack right here. There's our outside, inside right there, and the wheel manages to get there because he's inside that second puller. And our end right here, our front side end, does a good job of maintaining that B gap. All right, so right here, one of the things I talked about where I said we were going to see how we need to defend the single-sided trips. Well, right here, it's not a good look for us if they're going to try to come back and run counter over here. So one of the things we try to do to defend this or protect ourselves on the single side is we'll send the free safety right here. So we're sending the free safety. We get a down block, and this guy, our end, you can see he doesn't really squeeze it like he should, but the puller is going to come and try to kick our free right here. He ends up getting inside of this right here because they're kicking the free, and they don't really even get to him very well. And then our wheel's unblocked right here. So if you're looking at it, this is our outside, inside right here. All right, this one right here, again, to protect our single side, we're sending the corner right here, which sends him hard inside right there. And he's able to get there from the backside. But you can see front side. Here's our fit player right there. There's our outside. And you can see our mic fitting right here. And you can see our wheel fitting tight right here. So that's our outside, inside right there. And also we're getting down. And you can see our nose fighting back against pressure right here. Does a good job of fighting back against that. And our 4-eye does a good job of knocking this guy back right here. All right, we get quarterback counter right here. and they're going to base our 4. You can see now we're also, like I said earlier, coming back to our single sides, not counter back to the single side for us. He's got to come down here, and he's got to get in the fit on that. He's a little late getting down there. So because of that, he knows, so he's outside. So he becomes outside, inside, and he'd have to fit late inside right here. So our wheel gets outside that first puller right there, and then the mic fits inside right there. And then the free's kind of late to it, but he would be another inside. All right, we're getting long trap right here. He's going to pull. No, this is quarterback. I'm sorry. This is quarterback keep off the counter. So we're going to get pull. Now, like we said earlier, this guy's got the back to his side, so he knows he's a pause player. We're getting counter, all right here. He knows he's got to come up and play quarterback once the quarterback keeps it right here. So we're fitting counter front side with everybody. These guys are all fitting counter. He's got to be our quarterback player on the back side right here. He does a good job of coming up, making a play right here. So you can see we're going to get countered to the left. Quarterback's going to keep it and take off to the right side. And our guy comes down right here to this because he's a pause player to the side of the back. So he knows that's what he's looking for. Another one right here where they're trying to kick. They're going to try to kick our jack. We're sending him right there. He's our outside. Mike is inside right there. And then our wheel is inside right there. Now you can see too, our 4, even though he steps hard inside, he's going to maintain that gap right there. So he's basically becomes a 3-tech right there. And you can see he's really maintaining that B gap, and he actually ends up getting in on the tackle right there. Because like I said before, it's important that those guys understand they maintain those gaps.
Hey, Coach Lawson, about 10 minutes.
Okay. Right here, we're getting long trap. So what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to trap our jack right here. They have trouble getting to him because our 4-eye gets penetration in the B gap. But you can see the way it fits. Right, he's our outside right here, and the wheel would be our inside. This guy's trying to block our 4, but he doesn't get there. So that's why he looks like he's on the wheel. But that's our outside. That's our inside right there. So we get long trap, outside, inside right there. You can see it. He's trying to block down, just misses him. And so long trap, we're going to fit inside. Like I said, got to have 2 for every puller right there. Same thing this way. We're going to get long trap this way. Do a good job of getting outside on this. Our wheel doesn't do a great job seeing the pullers here. But our Mike does a good job. He gets over the top, inside right there, and then we get outside on it right there. So right here, B gap right there, and you can see Mike working over the top to get to it. And then our star could be a little faster because he's got the back opposite of him right there, so he knows he's a fit player. So he could be a little faster getting down on that. All right, so this one right here is gut, where we're going to get a base right here, and you can see our 4 does a good job of keeping it kind of fuzzy. You can see he's keeping his face in that B gap right there. You can see our Mike working down to fit off of him right there, and our wheel's coming around. Our wheel fits inside right here. It actually has to cut all the way back to our star right here, who's unblocked. Makes the play right there. Our backside 4 does a good job too of getting a bunch of penetration. So like I said earlier, I mean, he's kind of getting it right here, I know, but if that guy's pulling, we want to get in that hip pocket, and we want to try to disrupt as much as possible in that B gap as we can. All right, this one right here is Q ISO. We're plugging the mic on this one. So actually he ends up stepping out on that. And you can see right here, our star is coming down. You can see our wheel right here scraping, staying tight inside. So we want to treat this guy just like we would a puller. We got to have one inside and one outside on that. So our mic's got to fit outside and on that, and we want the wheel to fit inside on that. Now they don't. Our mic actually ends up kind of getting inside, so that makes our jack our outside guy right there. But you can see he actually goes inside when we want him to be a 3 right here. But we end up disrupting enough that we're able to eat up the gaps right there. And we got our jack unblocked off the edge right there because he's fitting tight. He does a good job not overrunning that. Okay, so we got right here, we got double tight. So they're giving us double tight one back right here. One of these is an offensive tackle, but we got double tight right here. And now our safeties are, if you see, if we get, we're a little looser on this because these guys would run counter right here and throw post on the back side of it. But if you look right here, so now this is they're basing outside on our that's our jack. So they're basing our jack. Our mic is going to fit inside, and then you can see our safety right here is outside on that. So our safety has to get down in the fit on that one. We force it to cut back and do a good job of coming down, making a play. Same thing again with these guys, double tight right here, one back. We're getting counter action this way. Our 4-eye gets up the field a little bit, but it's okay. We don't mind them getting a little penetration right there when they're just beating a block. Then we're outside, inside right there. You can see the mic getting inside the puller right here, making a play. And then our safety's kind of cheating down in case he does have to get in the mix. Get Q counter on this one right here. So it's the same action, it's just a quarterback. And then you can see the safety coming down outside right there. He's coming down. He ends up being our outside guy on that. But again, want to make sure we've got outside, inside on that right there. Same thing again. They got two receivers over here, so our free is actually kind of unblocked really. And this is a tackle, so we're not worried about him getting the ball. If this was a tight end and he were eligible, we'd have him more over the top of the tight end right here. But because he's an ineligible player, we're sitting out here waiting for the ball to bounce to us. And you can see our backers right here fitting outside, inside, and then it spills to our unblocked player out there on the edge who's outside. All right, that's all I got, Coach. That's all of our one-back gap fits, zone fits. Is there anything I need to go back over? Any questions you guys got? Or
I think they put them in the chat, Coach. The main one was the depth of the backers. Really good, really informative. I'd like to thank Coach Green for coming on, taking some time out of his day to kind of share with us what they do. I didn't mention this, kind of in the introduction. The success Oak Grove has had in the past, I think, being from where I am, South Louisiana, I think it's gone kind of unnoticed. And for anyone that's going to watch this video, guys, I'd go check them out. I mean, they've done some really good stuff. They're really consistent. They're always kind of the perennial guys down there in that division. So, Coach Green, awesome job.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Everyone on Facebook, Twitter, Speed Kills Football. There's some really good content coming to the site, to the podcast. There's a podcast now. We'll probably ask Coach Green come back on for a part 2 later on.
Okay.
And subscribe. There's some big guys coming. I know we're going to have the defensive coordinator from Alabama, Pete Golding, the defensive coordinator at UL, Patrick Toney, on here. So share it. Get it out. I know the offseason's kind of time for the football coaches. So this is just a kind of avenue to talk ball with guys that are passionate about the game. So, Coach Green, this will be recorded and uploaded on YouTube. I'll also email you a copy if you ever want to send it out to anybody.
Okay.
We appreciate you taking time out of your day, man, to help us and kind of expand this clinic series we got going.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all having me on. Enjoyed it.
Absolutely, brother. And, so those be kind of be on YouTube tonight. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll get it rolling.
All right, man.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Coach.
Yep.